Hello, everyone. Hi, Whitney. It's
Hi.
great to see you again.
So nice to see you. So excited to be here with everybody.
So the last time you and I talked was last November. We were on a different fortune stage. That was at our Most Powerful Women Next Gen Summit. So I thought, let me see what Whitney's been up to. And you've been very busy.
Been a little bit busy.
Yeah. So I'm just going to go over kind of a short list of things. You were sued by and then countersued the Match Group. You launched a fund for investing in women entrepreneurs. You created a pause feature to help users detox from your own app. You revealed you're getting into the skincare business. You banned gun photos on the Bumble platform. You announced that you're exploring an IPO. And just on last Friday, which was the same week, obviously, that Dr. Ford testified before the Senate, you took out a full-page ad in the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal saying, "Believe women." So I want to talk about a few of those things in detail, but first, I just want to say, that's really a lot. So how have the last 11 months been for you?
Well, they have been about as colorful as that list that you've just outlined. No, it's been very exciting. I mean, we have such a unique opportunity right now with Bumble. We have 41 million registered users, and we're just skimming the tip of the iceberg with what we can do. And when I look at the global landscape, misogyny is such a serious issue in every corner of our lives. And that's why I started Bumble, was really to combat that on a global scale. And so everything you just laid out is really just an effort to keep chasing our Northern Star. How do we empower people to connect on kinder, more accountable terms? And so all of that is really just, inching our way towards that Northern Star.
Okay. I do want to ask you briefly about the lawsuit, mostly because we had Mandy Ginsberg, the CEO of Match, on earlier. And she essentially, Lee Gallagher, my colleague, talked to her about the lawsuit and the fact that it happened in the context of a possible acquisition offer. And she asked Mandy, "Are you still talking to Bumble?" And I got to say, Mandy didn't say no.
So Mandy and I have a great relationship, totally separate from business. And I think that speaks to women in business. And it speaks to the next generation of how we should treat each other. And you can be in competition. You can be at odds as business leaders. But don't destroy one another as women under any circumstance. And I have huge respect for her. And I think regardless of where our businesses go, I've spent a big chunk of my 20s in lawsuits with Match. So this is just part of it at this point. Regardless of where all of that goes, I will give her a big hug in the courtroom. And I wish her all and nothing but the best and hope to have a personal relationship with her for a long time.
And you have said you're looking at an IPO, but if the right offer came along, the right company and the right dollar figure, would you still consider an acquisition?
We don't really look at an exit as part of the day-to-day strategy. We're really trying to build towards our mission. Again, for whoever in this room is unfamiliar with what Bumble is, and there was a lovely introduction, of course, I founded Bumble really to combat everything I hated about relationships in my life. Why did I always feel like the lesser half of a relationship? And why did I always feel that no matter how empowered and independent I was in my personal life outside of relationships, I was being dragged down? And so we're really trying to inspire and empower women to feel equal. Women are equal, and that's a global need. That's not something that's just here domestically. So, we're not getting out of bed in the morning saying, who can we sell to? We're saying, who else can we empower? Who can we inspire? What societal norms can we completely, dismantle that we hate? And how can we rebuild the future of connection? And so if an acquisition came along and that was going to help fuel that mission and help take it to every corner of the planet quicker, faster, more efficiently, it's something we'll explore, absolutely, but not for just bottom line purposes.
Okay. So let's go back to the global mission.
Yes.
You have some news to share with us.
We do. We have a very exciting announcement today. So I'll start with a very short story. About this time last year, we were launching Bumble Biz. So that's our third kind of collective piece of the Bumble platform where you can connect for networking, business opportunities. And we had this really amazing dinner in New York City, and I spent time with this remarkable woman. And we started talking about the global need for empowerment around the globe, not just here domestically. And she has dedicated her career to the empowerment of girls and women. And she was saying how much the women of India needed Bumble. And so that really kicked off this, this really exciting journey into India for us. And we've kept this totally confidential until today. And that wonderful, wonderful woman is Priyanka Chopra. So we are bringing her in. She is an investor in the business now. She is a partner. And she is going to help us empower not only the women of India with Bumble, but she will be a global force for us. And you know, the women of India are just like us here. Women globally want to be empowered. Women globally want to feel safe, and women globally need to connect. And so Bumble is going into India with this full-fledged social network. And if you think about the landscape of India, no one has earned the trust of women. And so we are really, really learning, you know, the culture and understanding exactly what the women of India want and need, and Priyanka has been an incredible force, and we're going to be launching there before the end of the year.
All right. It's very exciting. So I have to ask you, I'm going to go to the audience in a second for questions, but I have to ask you about the timing of this because I know Tinder is in India, and that maybe a little bit more than a week ago, they announced that in that market, they are rolling out their version of the Women First app. I am just curious if you have any thoughts on the timing of this with Tinder.
So, you know, we really are not planning anything around what somebody else is ever doing.
Okay.
We are charting our own course, and timing, that really does happen to be just, you know, circumstance.
Okay.
We have been building this brand, Women First, empowering you know, accountability and kindness and connections for 4 years now. We were preaching a lot of the narrative that so many people are now trying to understand how to work into their business, post Me Too, post Time's Up. We've been doing that, you know, since 2014. So we always commend anybody that wants to put safety at the forefront, but the way we are going about this is really in an authentic, true, from the ground up way that really is there purely for the empowerment of women. We want to bring safety, security to Indian women, and globally, of course, but you'll see in the platform in India, there is a lot of dedicated features towards safety and security that nobody has done yet.
Can you give us an example of one of those?
I can give you one example, but I can't elaborate too much. So we are allowing women to just use the first initial of their name instead of using their name. This is just an extra measure of security to really protect their anonymity. And, you know, if you look at not only dating platforms in India, social networks at large have not won the hearts of Indian women because they don't feel safe and secure. And so that is at the forefront of everything we're doing. And Priyanka and our team in India, you know, Priyanka has been over to India with our executive team already, and we are putting a lot of effort into this, and we're going to roll it out in a really meaningful way.
Excellent. Okay, any questions out there for Whitney? If not, I have a whole list. Oh, here we have one over here.
So I remember
I'm
so
sorry,
clearly.
please introduce yourself.
Oh, yes, my name is Trish Costello of Portfolio. And I remember so clearly, Whitney, the whole issue about having a woman founder made Tinder look weak and was just sickened by that. What kind of advice do you have for women entrepreneurs who are still struggling to be able to grow their businesses and find money?
So first of all, I would say that under any circumstance, regardless of what anyone ever tells you, a woman is never weak, never. And I think that we have seen over the last few years, and as time goes on, the future of business is going to involve women, not just in entry-level jobs, not just on boards, not just in executive roles, but women that will really go and build the future. And as long as you're so steadfast and so true to what you're doing and you believe that you're solving a true issue that you've experienced, don't let anybody stop you. And I think a good piece of advice is change the way you look at setbacks and really see them as wins. The more someone tells you no, the more people put you down, the more people tell you this won't work, you should feel so confident in that because it means you're doing something someone has not done yet. And 99% of the planet, they don't like change. They don't like innovation. And so just believe in yourself and really see it as a challenge and as an inspiration, not a setback.
Whitney, I want to circle back to the Believe Women ad. Because we've had a lot of conversation, and I think there's a lot of conversation in the business community about the roles of CEOs and companies when it comes to taking a stand on social and political issues. I think a lot of CEOs are scared of that. But for Bumble, it really feels like it's in your DNA. And so I'm curious if you have advice for any of the women in the audience who might be thinking about that issue in their own companies.
So I think it's a challenging question. For us, I can speak for Bumble, this is who we are. We've been taking a risk from day one. We wouldn't build a product where women must make the first move. Everybody said that was against the grain. That was against human nature. Why would you ever build a product that won't work? This is what I heard the entire time trying to build this company. And we were building this with such a mission at the helm of it that decisions to take a full page ad and say, Believe Women, on such a, serious day, that speaks beyond just that day. That wasn't an opportunity for us to just market ourselves. That had nothing to, we actually didn't even want to use our logo on that. It was really a statement to say, enough is enough, and I think that as business owners or as CEOs, you have to do what's right. You have to do what will progress society. And if you are being complacent, you are a part of the problem. As leaders, as companies, as executives, we have to push towards what we believe is the progressive answer. And it's okay for people not to like you. And I've been paralyzed by that for so many years. When I left Tinder, I was all over the media without wanting to be all over the media. And I was paralyzed by what people thought of me. I was depressed. I had the worst anxiety. My precious, amazing mother is in the room somewhere. I'm so sorry for torturing you for the last few years.
Can we
But
see?
anyway, I didn't want to leave my house. And literally all I had was, my mom and my now husband.
Hi.
But I'll literally cry on stage, tearing up.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. But see, this is being women in business, and that's okay. But the point is, you just have to do what's right. And the next generation of little girls needs us. So you have to do the right thing.
And how do you decide? Especially right now, there are so many issues you might choose to engage in. What for you says, okay, this is something where we're going to take a public stand?
What's your Northern Star? What's your Northern Star? For us, it's ending misogyny. You react. You have to be proactive, and you have to respond. You have to get involved. You cannot sit back. You can't go out there and, talk this talk without walking a walk. And I think that serves for everybody in this room. No matter what your Northern Star is, you have to make sure that you are really being true to that and authentic.
Okay. Thanks, Whitney. We're looking forward to seeing what you're going to do in India.
Thank you. We're very excited. Thank you.